Hey, we are live, but I'm just going to be reading. So if anybody comes and says hi, I might not catch the chat because I'm going to be reading. So somebody was asking about my bookshelf, and so this is going to be the first in this series of looking at my bookshelf. And the first thing I'm going to look at, I'm going to start with like pretty esoteric stuff just because maybe nobody's seen this before and they're interested in it, rather than, oh, let's talk about a book that everybody's read. So probably nobody's read any of these things, but therefore look them up because they're probably goofy and weird at the very least. So this first one is Specula, which is a magazine that was put out by the Journal of the American Association of Meta Science. This is a Thomas Bearden related artifact. This is all about his like scalar energies and stuff like that. Yeah, this was the letter that came with it. I got it at a garage, like a library going out, getting rid of things thing, which was silly because this is exactly weird ephemera that I think librarians should keep. Everybody only needs like how many copies of mass market things do we need? This is what you need, weird ephemera. So anyway, so there's the letter that came with. I'm not going to read it actually. This is a whole bunch of stuff about what was happening with the organization. Oh, and let's see. Can I even read this? This is tiny printing. Check it out. Well, maybe I can read it through here. Psychic activity. Others relating to psychic activities relating to Bigfoot. Oh yeah, this is interesting. This is where Thomas Bearden talks about basically the interdimensional nature of Bigfoot, and as a sort of how it's like he might exist in a different sort of dimension. Is the editor's thesis that Bigfoot and Bigfoot-like creatures are actually materializations from collective human unconscious shaped. Oh, he's talking almost like they're egregores or whatever, shaped and formed by the progressively higher unconscious in race culture. Oh, that's why they conform. So it's like in his model, these are like in this section, I forget. In this section, he seems to be putting forth a sort of Jungian thing, which I don't know. And this is, but how they're interdimensional, how they seem to be able to move around. It's not just like a simple creature, but it's a very interesting little magazine if you're into esoterica, alternate energies, things like that. Lots of letters to the editor. There is one interesting article, though. I thought it was brief blurbs. See, this is like almost like a zine thing where you're like referencing other zines or magazines. In the last issue, what they're up to. Application for weird esoteric. No, but there's an interesting article about where is it? Tiny print. It's insane. Like, how are you supposed to read this shit? Oh yes, it's in the back. This is where he talks about the scalar weapons. and how what you could do is sort of like take the recording even of an imprint and then just replay it. Or the idea is that you have so this is his idea of basically like a force field. Where you have various layers of oscillation, and therefore each one of them disrupts the material at different frequencies until everything's just fallen apart, basically. Interesting. And I gotta say, I usually find appendices almost the most interesting thing. He's comparing U.S. and American weapons, though I don't think this is the way they're going to take us down. Instead, they took us down, or they took democracy in America, or they disrupted America via installation of a Russian puppet president. But that's just my opinion, and probably I'm wrong unless I'm Canadian, because otherwise I'm in trouble and I can't cross the border anymore. So, this is Soviet psychotronic weapons. Oh yeah, this is a... See? It's like not close enough. Okay. Should I read this? This looks interesting. Soviet psychotronic weapons, a condensed background. Or should I better like... The author, a retired U.S. lieutenant colonel, operates in a loose underground physics net which has contacts in 20 countries. I think he's talking about himself. He's been engaged in the study of unusual phenomenon. Oh, this is talking about basically background. And so in the late 1920s, oh yes, T. Henry Moray, an engineer in Salt Lake City. There we go. Utah actually succeeded in building a free energy device that successfully tapped the infinite zero-point energy of the pure vacuum mode. So he's first mentioning Murray. This is a long time ago. This was published in 1978. Volume 1, number 2. March, June 1978. I picked it up in the 80s sometime, I think. Maybe 90s. Yes. Specula. Interesting little book. I'm going to make it short. I can't read. I'm going to need better glasses if I'm going to be reading stuff verbatim. Anyways. Peace. Consider checking it out. It's interesting. Oops. Somebody used to live there. I just like doxed somebody accidentally. Beep. Hey, Norma. What? What's up? How's Brooklyn? We'll do another book. I hear, since we're open on fame, and I think... Is Norma there? There, now you're a moderator too. So I can't even see the chat because of this mod or something, way I'm looking at it or something. Ah, just pressed the wrong button. No, I'm not going to ask a question. So, and then two of my favorite books that I have extra copies of, since we're just going to do this on the fly. Two books that I always have extra copies is this, Michael Moorcock's Alien Heat, which is, there we go. There's the blurb. If I was going to sum it up, this is a H.G. Wells period, sort of like steampunk period, super fantastical love story. Set at the interface between the very end of time. Time is compactified in the book, by the way, by the sheet. And H.G. Wells kind of like turn of the century England kind of thing. I just love this book. It's so quaint and funny, and there's just like lots of opportunity for goofy joking and making fun of each other from the time periods, and somebody from the end of time looking at, being sort of like the universal anthropologist in a way, because their culture is so alien. So it's like, oh, really? This is the way you do things here, sort of thing. All these typical things of the time period, which we've given up many of them, but still many persist. Anyways, and then there's 3 books in the series, but this is the starter, and this has got, and just the name is the wordiness. Michael Moorcock is a genius. I love you, dude. You're just so fucking awesome. And then another Michael Moorcock book, because that's how fucking awesome Michael Moorcock is, in my opinion. So anyway, so this is Swords Trilogy. Pay no attention to this. This is like such a Frazetta cover. It's just like Frazetta slightly on the cheap. But this is a really awesome sword and sorcery, magic, not too heavy. He did Elric of Melniboné, and so this is very similar to that, but different. It's got a more colorful tone to it, just in general, I'd say. There's dark parts, but overall the hero is just a more less jaded than Elric, because Elric was born in a with an infirmity, etc., etc. So his whole life has been in this condition, whereas in this one, the lead character has trauma, lives a very peaceful life until trauma comes to them. So it's a sort of different thing, because this somebody who aspires and remembers a certain quality of life that gets taken, rather than somebody who's innately used to a certain quality of life, whatever that is, even if it might be quite extreme and dark. What you're used to is what you're used to. Anyways, love this series, Swords Trilogy. It's like, love this series. There's another trilogy after. I didn't love it so much. It's a little more romantic-y and stuff. Somehow it just didn't move as intensely, but this one is freaking awesome. Knight, King, and Queen of the Swords. Oh, the end of the Knight of the Swords, just like the visuals. If this could be made into a movie, you could only do it now that you have this kind of technology, because what this would demand, the visioning that this demands. Anyways, peace out. However you turn this off, I don't know. No, that's not it.